Okay guys, so very welcome to you all. Happy Monday afternoon. Great to be with you guys. Always a pleasure to spend a few moments at the beginning of the week looking for some opportunities of things to trade. So it's a pretty good time to look at some of these setups. We've got quite a bit of big news coming up today, and
Blue shield. Shield.
Sorry, we've got some details in the works here. So we're coming into the summer markets. It's May, and there's May gloom. Is it called May gloom or June gloom? I don't know, but everything's getting ready to just rock and roll. We've seen some decent movements, and then things kind of slow down, and we see some decent movements. This month historically is a big moving month, so it should be pretty fantastic. Remember that this is kind of my outlook for the week and a couple of pairs that I think will be interesting. But this changes from day to day, and there are very specific entries and very specific things that we do. I post a lot of charts, and I post a lot of entries and a lot of details for group members. We have a watch list that's posted every single day of trades we're looking at, entries we want to take, things we want to do. And so you can get more information about that. You can join us for some free trials and trade the week with us at daytradersfx.com/join. It's all a free trial, no obligation to do anything too crazy. And the link is posted right there in the chat. And it's just daytradersfx.com/join. Okay, let's get down to business here. We've got a pretty heavy week today. Or excuse me, this week. Today, the biggest focus is as follows. Number one, we have trade balance for Australia. Don't really care. That might move things a little bit, but I think that the market will give 1% of a about that, and I think everything will be focused on today, where we have the interest rate announcement for Australia, interest rate announcement and the rate statement. Interest rate is expected to be cut another 1/4 point. Analysts are pretty torn on this. There's a lot of expectation that interest rates will not be cut, that they'll just be left as is. That will cause a massive Australian dollar rally if that is the case. If they are cut, then probably nothing too crazy. Then we'll kind of depend on what the statement says. But interest rate news is always interesting, pun fully intended. Because that really gets markets scooting. So we're going to be watching that. We'll have a live session for Australian interest rate news tonight for group members only, and that's going to be super exciting. We should be able to get some good news trades out of that. And again, that'll be tonight at 9:30 p.m. chat time. Who knows what time that is for most people? It's pretty late for some. Pretty late for me. Good grief. So we'll have a live session for that. Going into Tuesday, we've got a bit of news. We've got some trade balance for U.S. and Canada. We've got some decent U.S. news. Employment numbers for New Zealand on Tuesday. That's pretty important. And then retail sales for Australia on Tuesday. Wednesday, we have ADP numbers for the U.S. Yellen speaks. We have Australian employment numbers on Wednesday. Thursday, we have nothing too terribly exciting on Thursday. And then Friday, we have U.S. and Canadian employment numbers. So every day for the rest of this week, except for Thursday. Thursday might be the time to take a breath. Every day this week, we have massive news announcements, and we're going to have a lot of live sessions to cover these news announcements this week. There's a lot of news, so let's just be ready for all of that. Okay, and thank you, Patrick. Good point. Thursday is UK elections. We have that right there. I don't know what that's going to do to the market, but it might do something big, so just keep that in mind. One more little piece of information. Everybody that is on my emailing list tomorrow will receive a special invite and a special link to get a hold of my long-anticipated and long-talked-about trade manager, robot, expert advisor, whatever you want to call it. That is coming. You'll receive a link about that tomorrow where you can get that and so on and so on. So it's been a long time in the works, and most of the time has just been spent testing, making sure bugs are worked out, making sure that everything is figured out, and kind of taking it from there. So that will be coming tomorrow. Keep an eye on your email for the trade robot link. It's going to be super exciting, and I hope everyone's excited about that. I've had lots of questions about it, lots of good interest, and that is finally coming. So that'll be great. Tomorrow that will be out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say this little detail about the first part of this week, and that is, yes, absolutely, Susan. We've been talking about it for a good little while, and it is finally ready to go. We've been talking about this for a while. Euro dollar, my ultimate target on euro dollar has been 11300. You can see that the euro dollar reached 112.90, and then it has fallen off that level by 160 pips or so, and it's just kind of floundering around down here. I honestly don't know what I think the euro dollar is going to do. I don't know. I think we're going to have to wait for some of the news this week. We're going to have to kind of see how things go. It reached kind of my final target. It came just shy of my final target by a couple of pips, but that's close enough for me that I'm going to now kind of take it easy and see what happens here. So euro dollar is in a very interesting position that I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I really don't know what I'm going to do with euro dollar. If it gets back down to some of this key support around 110.50, which it's only 100 pips away from right now, I will consider buying euro dollar again. I'll consider buying it even down around this monthly pivot at the 110.100 area and 200 moving average. Somewhere in this zone between 110 and 110.50, I'm going to be looking to probably buy into the euro dollar and trade it higher, but I'm definitely not set on that. That's kind of my general outlook for the moment. As the week develops and as things kind of continue on, we'll have a better idea of what we're going to do with that. But it reached the biggest target I was looking for, which was 11300, and now I don't really know what I want to do with it. Except for wait a little bit and maybe buy the dip. This is a pretty good pattern. We broke out of a pretty nice little situation right here, and the euro dollar probably will be able to continue going. This is pre-summer movement, and kind of the starting move that we've seen so far should be able to continue on. But I'm not going to assume anything too much just yet. So we'll watch the euro dollar a little bit, and we'll be looking for possible entries to buy between 110 and 110.50 to trade it back up into those highs of 11300 and ultimately into this 200 moving average, which currently sits at about almost 11700. So that's what we're looking for the moment. If the euro dollar does get below 110, then I'll probably be looking for opportunities to short it somewhere down in that general area and get some momentum out of it. But we'll see. Euro dollar is kind of a little bit on the back burner until we get some of the bigger news towards the end of the week. So not too much going on there. With the UK, we have got elections we've been talking about. Today was a bank holiday in the UK, all of that stuff. So with the pound dollar, for example, it did pretty well. It reached our target as well. We talked about the breakout of this rising or this falling wedge and a move into the 200 moving average, which it did very nicely. From this whole run up, it has retraced and is consolidating around the 38% fib. So it reached that. Everything's good there. We have a lot of good support between 150 and about 150, 100. Again, kind of a same situation as euro dollar. I think we could see the pound dollar rally from that 150, 100 area on up. So euro dollar has kind of some good support in that 110 to 110.50. Pound dollar has some good support between 150 and 150, 100, and I'll be looking to buy both of those in that general area. But that's definitely not a given. That's not a absolute. That's we'll see how news goes. They've reached our big targets, and now we're just kind of waiting for the next big, great setup on those two pairs. Australian dollar, we talked about the Australian dollar quite a bit. We talked about this 78, 40, 50 area to buy the break of that. Hopefully a lot of you got into that trade. That happened. That ran up 235 pips. Or, as we say in trading, plenty of room to lock in profit. So it ran up, hit some nice targets, and it came right back down. Now, obviously, we're not doing anything at all on the Australian dollar until the news hits. And we've got some great levels to watch with the coming news. We've got a nice little channel to work with here, and so we're going to keep an eye on that. So I'm not going to say too much about the Australian dollar right now because I want to see, we will be trading the news reaction and getting in on some spikes there, and then we'll see what happens with interest rate news. Remember, the rate is expected to be cut another 1/4 point, yet there's a lot of tornness out there of whether Australia will cut rates or not. If they don't cut rates, that should be excellent an excellent opportunity for this to continue up into the 200 moving average, which is up around 81.50. So that was my next target. Our first target was 80, and the next target was 81.25, 81.50, and we didn't quite get there. And so this may be the next stab we have to take at it. One interesting thing about the Australian dollar is the 4-hour chart, consolidated around here, ran up, and it's kind of giving us a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern. And I'm going to watch that. And if we break this ascending trend line, that kind of puts us at breaking a bit of a neckline, and kind of, we're still waiting for this right shoulder to form here, but we do have a little bit of a short-term head and shoulders pattern in the works, and I think this is going to be a nice little pattern to trade, especially after we get the interest rate news and we have a better idea of what's happening in Australia. So those details are coming up and should be pretty exciting. I'm going to have some charts posted for everyone as well, and of course this recording will be posted and all the details will be put up there. Our dollar CAD, this was just a great little trade. This thing broke out a couple of weeks ago, broke this big rising wedge, ran down to 120, hit the 200 moving average, and kind of just reset everything, and it's just bouncing around here. Well, the dollar CAD's pretty interesting because this one also hit the 38% fib of this bigger move up right here. Hit that 38% fib. We can see a little bit better of this run, the low, the swing low of 2014 to that run high there, which was just a mere 2,200 pips. No problem. It hit that 38% fib and had a big rejection candle. You can see that long wick right there and a really small body, nice little hammer. And you can see on the daily chart that it had a pretty good little opportunity to find that support and hang on there. So the 38% fib looks good. Anytime we take a stab at a moving average and fail, like this one did right here, I could see the dollar CAD continuing to move down for a couple of reasons, depending on how U.S. and Canadian employment numbers go, of course. That's going to be a big deal. But this is also the time of year where the trends just carry on. They just keep going. And so this is a great time to be looking for breakouts. So with the dollar CAD, oil prices are continuing to be on the rise. We're going into summertime. All those things that can help fuel the Canadian dollar strength. And so what I'm looking for here is 119.50 was our attempt at the 200 moving average, and it bounced up off it. There's going to be little opportunities as this week goes on, and we're going to talk about these in the live trading group, like the weekly low right here, this 120.85 area, and so on. And there's going to be some opportunities to get into some of that breakout. But the bigger picture, what I'm going to be looking for, and what I'll talk about next Monday, is what happened in relation to 119.45. This is our 119.45, 119.50 area. If that breaks, I'm short dollar CAD for at least 200 pips. We should get at least 200 pips out of a 119.45 break. That'll get us into the 117 area. And probably much beyond even. But I think from 119.50 we should be able to get into 117.50, and then we can kind of see how things go from there. But this is going to be a very nice little setup and a nice little trade. And if 119.45 gives way, then I'm going to be super short, and I'm going to run all the way down into this business here and just let this thing pay us out. So be watching for that, and we'll discuss that next week, how that went. The dollar yen has been interesting. We've talked about the dollar yen a lot. There's a lot of chop in here. There's been a lot of movement. Dollar yen support has held very well, 118.50. We talked about shorting the break of 118.50, and it just tested 118.50 and bounced off it and bounced and bounced. And so the dollar yen's kind of stuck in this channel here a little bit. 118.50 has been like the unbreakable support that the market just does not seem to be able to get through. On the low end. So again, anytime, and that's obviously a good little distance away, it's about 150 plus pips away. So we break 118.50, I'm going to be short dollar yen for 200 to 300 pips minimum, and that will be a great trade. But likewise, we're up above 120, and 120 is a crucial enough level, and we've had a nice little run up here. We had a nice little bull flag. Everything played out pretty well on that move higher, and it just has consolidated just around this 120.25-ish area. This happens to be our Friday high from last week, and the market has kind of tested and bounced around that. I love Friday highs and I love Friday lows, and the dollar yen is eventually going to have to break out of this channel, and when it does, it should be good for a pretty good chunk of pips. So I'm going to be long somewhere around 120.30, 35 area on dollar yen. If we break that Friday high and this little kind of bull flag that we have on the daily chart, which is exactly what it is, you can see a little bit better there. There's a nice bull flag on that daily chart, and some consolidation. So we break above about 120.30, and we need to be long dollar yen into probably into about 12200. I think we're going to be able to get, close to 200 pips out of this move, and we might even be able to get a little bit more. But I'm looking to trade up into these highs, and we could get a much bigger movement, which is even off the screen right now. So look to be long above 120.30. Look to be short below 118.50. Dollar yen. That's going to be a great trade either direction. I don't even care which way it goes, but it's going to be fantastic when it does go. For those group members, we're in Aussie, New Zealand. We're up almost 100 pips, and this is going to be a big mover this afternoon. I don't have too much to say about this one just yet. We're going to look at this evening, actually, with the interest rate news and see where this goes. But there should be some good opportunities on Aussie, New Zealand in the next coming couple of hours. Okay, we have that. New Zealand dollar is giving us a very similar to dollar yen kind of setup. Big chop and stuck in a big channel. So right here we have about 7,500 on New Zealand dollars. This is a nice little, fairly well tested trend line that broke just a little bit, and it seems to be retracing. I want to be short New Zealand dollar at 7,500. If we get 7,500, I'm going to short this thing and trade it on down into some of these lower targets, 7,250. And so on. I think we've got some very, very nice lower targets. If this holds, I'll be looking for opportunities to buy off of this support. If I can't find a great area to buy off that support, and this just chops around and ends up running up 200 pips, and I can't find a great place to get into it, which I wouldn't be too surprised with how choppy it's been the last couple of months in that channel, then I'll just wait for the big momentum to continue and buy the break of 77.40 on New Zealand dollar. So at this moment, 77.40 is our big level, and 7,500 is our big level. The market gets above or below either one of those, and we should have some very, very nice moves. So New Zealand dollar looks very, very good for that. And it should be pretty exciting. So I'm pretty excited about that. So my big focus will be over the next little while is going to be today Aussie dollar and Aussie New Zealand for the coming interest rate news. This week dollar CAD possible short at the break of 119.45. That's going to be a huge deal. We'll also have some other trading opportunities on that one, but for this week, that's what I want to see. If 119.45 breaks, I want to be short dollar CAD. Dollar yen, I want to be long above 120.30 or short below 118.50. Just that simple. That's what I'm looking for. And then New Zealand dollar, I want to be short below 7,500 or at 7,500 even, or long above 77.40. So we've got some nice little channels in play. There's pretty good trend that typically happens this time of year, and so I'm going to be looking for that trend to take over, break some highs, break some lows, get these markets out of these channels, and get things really cranking. And I think we're going to see some fantastic moves coming up in the next several hours to a couple of days. This week should be exciting. There's a lot of news, a lot of things happening. And so it should be pretty excellent. I'll have some charts posted. Remember, you can always find those charts on the website at Day Traders FX on the Monday webinar link. And that's kind of what we're going to be looking for. As always, new trades, new ideas, new currency pairs will pop up during the week, but this is, at this point, what I'm looking for going into this week. And I think we should be able to grab a couple hundred pips out of everything we've just talked about and get some good movement. So thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm here for questions or comments while I get this video posted and while I get some charts updated. Otherwise, stay in touch, and daily videos will be coming for group members and watch lists and charts and trade ideas. And for everyone else, I'll send out a couple of charts this week as well, and we'll have some live trading sessions for news events also. So Thanks, everybody. We'll let that rock and roll, and we'll see how it goes. And let me get this video posted, and I will take any questions any of you have right now.